This is Kurt. We're up here at Legacy Farm.
Okay.
Tell us about this horse you have. Just a quick review.
This is her name's Star. She's 7.
Okay.
Hasn't been touched in about 3 years.
All right. This is Star down here.
She doesn't lead well, or we just kind of get her leading a little bit.
Okay.
And as far as I know, she's not even broke to ride.
All right. So, but she would like to have a new home, and the owner would like her to have a new home.
The owner's looking to find a home for her. The owner would like some money, but maybe she might give her away too.
All right. Let's see what we can do. How about if you go down? I'll follow you. Why don't you go down, and then I'll follow along.
Okay.
And when you get her haltered up, I'll get down there and I can put my gear on her, and we'll see if we can lead her to a place to work her, or we'll work her right here maybe. I'm a couple hours early on this. Let's see. Interesting. She certainly looks like a sculpture. She looks like the she's plenty of weight on her there. That's the little I see. That's her. Well, she's stout enough.
I'm sorry?
I said she's stout enough.
Yeah. This one's kind of starting to get over.
And she's friendly enough too. Look at her. Star is her name? Okay. Rick, could you hold this camera for me so I can just see if I can get a different line on her? This is going to be one of these homemade videos, you guys. So, just, you got it? Okay. All right, great. Well, hi, Star. How's it working for you, dear? Hey, what are you doing? Hi, little Star. Huh? What's up? So I think I'll just offer her this halter. Okay? I'll offer her this halter. I'm going to put it on over, Kurt.
Okay.
I'll put it on over, and then I'll take her halter off underneath.
I'll just, when you say so, I will walk away.
Okay.
How's that?
That's fine.
She's sweet, and I think she's smart.
She looks like she's very smart.
Yeah.
And anybody in this condition who's 7 years old and has her bills paid has something going for her, right? Something like that, right? At this day and age, there are plenty of places where she'd just have already been on the dinner table, right? Okay, here you little horsey. Let's take this off here. There you go, girl. I'm gonna put this right over. Because I don't know her. Does she pull away?
I don't think so.
Okay.
She might leave on you and try to pull you with her.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
That was the...
Well, that was the question, yes. Yeah. She thinks I don't know what I'm doing because now she has on 2 halters, and she's probably right. Let's see what we can do here. Oh boy. She's certainly got a nice little demeanor here working. So fancy. Her owner knows that I'm doing this, right?
No.
She doesn't?
No.
Well, maybe we shouldn't do it.
I'm sure she'll be fine with it.
Okay. Having her horse on Facebook and everything?
Yeah. I asked her, I said, I'm going to put her on Facebook and see if I can help find her home, and she said that was fine.
All right. That's fine. Good. I just didn't want to...
Yeah. No, I haven't told anybody to come.
No, that's fine. All right, let's see what we can do here. All right, you. Let's see if I can close this up a little bit. I think what I'd like to do, I'm not going to worry too much about these other horses. you? Well, we'll see what we have going here. Hi, you. How is she? What kind of horse is she? Do you know what her breeding is? If you stand over there by Rick, then what you say about her will be easier to hear.
She's a halfling or a POA.
Okay. Well, good. She's sure stout enough. This is not her best side. She's not used to having people over here, it doesn't look like. Which is a good reason to be here. Okay? So here she is. I already like her. I can think of 5 jobs for her. Okay. I can think of 5 jobs for her already. First thing I got to do is figure out if there's anything I can do that will mean something to her. I think I got that. That's perfect. I'm going to hold that in the back for later. Okay. So I like that about her. Well, we don't have much really here.
No.
To work with, except a great big horse. Let's see what she thinks of that. Somebody probably got her really nice and dull on the tuning out part. Really nice and dull on the tuning out part. Really nice and friendly. Nice and friendly. So I look always to see on the ground what I can do to motivate a horse in some way. And I'm going to motivate her all right. But we're just going to, we sort of see what we have here. She's a pet. She's a nice pet. Okay, so we got a nice pet. And here she is, following me around, trying to find some meaning in the day. See if we can change sides on her. She doesn't care about that. I'm just checking her out. Okay? All right. Well, that tells me quite a bit already. I'm gonna come up and give you my 5 cents interview on this horse. Certainly friendly enough. Certainly not afraid of too much. Maybe until she is. We don't know about that part. Strong enough to take at least 1 or 2 people through the woods on a picnic ride. Flexible. Another sale point. Flexible. No need to waste money on fly spray here. Likes to push her shoulders on you. Another very useful and popular trait. Probably hand-fed. Yes, she says, I've got that right. Did you see that? She thought that was a pretty good autobiography, right? Or biography. The thing I like about her is that you can get your hands all over her. You can come all the way here. That's nice. The other thing I like about her, she's not upset about you changing eyes on her. That's another good feature. She shows you right away what she likes. That means it's going to be very nice to ride her. If she likes it this much and you're sitting up here, she'll probably not want to buck you off too soon. All you got to do is stay up here in the middle. Move around a little bit while you're riding her, and I think she probably won't buck you off. It feels too good. Okay, so those are my conclusions. So we'll see what we have to work with here. Here's our backup. That's nice. There's our turn. I'm just going to work into this a little bit. This is a blind date.
Leslie,
Yes.
you have to stay at least as far away as you were for me to have everybody in frame.
Okay. You mean everybody meaning who?
You and your horse.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right, that's fine. So, I think maybe somebody could have used her for driving. She seems like she doesn't mind these things on the ground. Hard to know. But she didn't think much of that, did she? She didn't think too much of that. Come on. Come on. We'll put a stop to that right now. So anytime a horse is going to respond to being asked to move off by turning their face into you with their ears back, I never mind catching up a front leg and changing the subject.
Huh.
But to think for a minute that a horse you can't liven up with a rope on the ground or with action, to think for a minute that you're going to welcome her into your face with that amount of weight, with her ears packed, ready to throw her shoulders onto you. It's not my idea of a good time. So that in her left eye there, she got no respect for that, really, no interest in it. And that's fine, it's great information. Okay, so there are two sides to this. There's a spot where you've got a horse that is either secure enough in herself, desensitized, or overschooled that she doesn't give a damn. It doesn't matter to me either. But you have to know this before you go into a situation where you offer any assumptions in your conclusions about what to do. The rope doesn't impress her. Your position in either eye doesn't impress her.
Yeah.
The flies are impressing her. So, what we'll do, I'll continue my interview with this little horse. And you'll notice that after I took a hold of her leg and knocked her back in the head,
Yeah.
that backing her was not a problem. Backing her a minute ago, I might as well have been trying to push on that phone pole.
Yeah.
Okay? So she's already telling me easily that fairness, a fair treatment, is something she's going to understand and go along with. Now, all the time I had this rope on the ground was intentional. I just did a rope coiling deal the other day for people. They're probably going to wonder why in the world I had the rope all over the floor. But there's a reason that I did. Okay? Now, there's a lot of reasons for a lot of things. Okay? So what we're going to try to do is to see whether we can bring out an idea in this mare. That's better. Get up. We're going to try to see if we can get her. So that's fine. Okay, that was a nice attempt. She thinks it's perfect. How close are we, Rick?
Well, this is good right here for me to get
Okay.
some room.
Because I'm trying to find out if I can be heard as well.
That I don't know. You could
Okay, well.
ask your audience.
Okay. Maybe we'll see, because I don't know what they say, because you're on that side of it now.
Right. None of them have commented on the,
All right. Well,
the
maybe
sound.
the thing is, this is a hard thing to give you a blow-by-blow talk about with this chainsaw and that tractor behind us, and also you that far away. I think before I try to liven her up, we ought to think about maybe going
Yeah,
on
they
that.
can hear you.
They can hear. Okay, even when I'm back on the circle?
They're all saying yes, they can hear you.
Okay, great. All right, so the thing to be aware of here on a horse like this is that she already shows you very clearly that she's used to being annoyed, and she has no problem getting, no problem. This is her assumption, is that she is needed here.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are horses. I don't lead a horse from here. I don't like to be here. I don't like to have a horse move into me. But what she's showing here is what she thinks the plan is. Okay, so I wouldn't correct that, but just so people understand that this type of thing here is a product of being handled like this. Okay, and if you want to have a nice, safe horse to grow up with, there would be another thing to train them to do. It's not to say that you don't need to be there from time to time, but to remember that if a horse will walk up to you, they'll also run up to you. And if they expect you to move as this one does, don't wait for an invitation. If they need to move you out of the way, that plan is already built in. You can see it in her face. As soon as I had another idea what to do, back went the ears, the mouth got tight, and then she started to head right for me. So you're going to have to do better than this to sell yourself, my dear, because I'm not going to advertise these qualities. Oh, you need a little help here. Maybe I can just try to get on her good side for a minute before I kick her butt a couple times to straighten her out. I might as well let her know what my advantage to being my friend could possibly be. Okay, so
your commenters are saying that when you get real far away, it's hard to hear.
okay. Now, we're going to back her up here for a minute. Here's our backup. Okay, here's our circle. Here's our circle starting. Now, not really interested in the confrontation. She, right here, needs to have the confrontation right here. This is what she's used to. Can you walk up here, Rick, so I can not have to yell? So, we're gonna spend some time letting her understand that it takes two to fight. I don't fight with horses. I'll defend myself if I get myself in that sorry situation. But she's not really, I wouldn't use the word disrespectful, and I wouldn't use any word to call her a name because she's just not clear what I want. Now she is a little more clear. And she's not gonna, there, that's better. But you can see she's been confronted, and she's been confronted straight on in the blind spot and had somebody get after her with a rope or a chain or God knows what. But anyway, when you start with one like this, here she comes again, ready for seconds, okay? Get out. Now she thought that was interesting because she didn't expect it. Now, you understood that, right? She said it wasn't even me, look at her. But the thing is, I didn't hurt her, for heaven's sakes. I got a sneaker on. Now we got her again. So I'm going to use all of these things to change her expectation. Okay, good girl. Hey, trim your feet later. Now, I've never hit her, gone up to her and hit her. When she came at me with her head and neck, I blocked her on the other side. But hitting her in the face, I would never do. This is not what this is about. What I'm showing you, and what I want to show you, is that this mare is pretty cool and pretty tolerant, and she's pretty darn good about giving her feet. So we're going to try to emphasize the positive, but when you go up, look at the size of this thing. When you go up to work with a horse like this, you want to remember that just because they want to come up and hug on you and love on you doesn't mean it's a good idea, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and just put that on her there. Now I'll take it off. There, now we got her going out. That's a release. Yeah, that's better, isn't it? But you see, as she flips her head back and forth, she gets that dark eye with the sclera, and then she pins her ears, and then her ears come forward. What we want is that cute little look right there, where she says, "What do I do now, Leslie Desmond?" We're going to have to figure out what she can do. But the first thing she has to do is to be able to leave and come back without wanting to take somebody out. That would be very helpful. So that's what we're going to do. We'll see if we can bring her up one step right there and stop her. Okay? Now her idea of stopping is about 3 more steps. So I'm going to go ahead now, and I'm going to put that in her left eye, and have her go somewhere else. Okay, so that was a good try. She got that point there. Okay, so now, come on you. I'll go ahead and do the same thing in the other eye, so she sees that this is an equal opportunity shoulder elevation maneuver. Okay, there it is. Now I'm going to get away from that. Are you? Bye. She wouldn't mind kicking me in the head either. That's okay. Both ends work. Yeah, she'll rear and she'll buck. That means she's free. She'll rear, she'll buck, she'll kick, and she'll strike. So far she doesn't bite. She does give her feet nicely. Come here, you little chubby thing. Come on here. Now, stop your feet. Now she got the point, okay? Now, I'm not going to do anything with this rope to hurt her or scare her other than try to get her instincts back in order, okay? We want her instincts back in order, okay? So we'll take, good girl. So now we're going to just see how little we can do to move these shoulders, okay? I'll get some help there. Just send her over there. Right there. Now she's ready for the big contest again. Face up here and get ready to do something. Okay, so we're going to just try this in another way. Okay, if you've got some idea of this, that's better. A little bit. Now I'll lead her out of that. Now I'm going to lead her here, and I'm going to stop right there. Whoops, what was that? What is that? You see, you notice I got afraid of it, kind of, and she came up to it. So that's a good sign too, because it means that she's really interested in what I'm doing. If something scared me, she came right up to take care of it. That's not so bad. That's a nice feature. If you fall off and there's a coyote in the woods, maybe she'll go after the coyote. Oh, we're trying to establish your value. Yes, we are. Okay? Okay. So, this is how we kiss and make up. She gets mad, tells me to go to hell, and then I say, okay, I'll do it. And then we kiss and make up. Okay, now let's see if we can get control of these shoulders here. Okay, and I'll bring her up to say hello. Stop your feet now. Let's see if we can back you up. Can you back up a little bit? You take your shoulders. Okay, we can go a quarter turn before she has to turn around and go hi-oh silver. Okay, for those of you who don't know what hi-oh silver means, there was who was it who had that? Roy Rogers?
Lone Ranger.
Lone Ranger, right? Hi-oh silver, okay? So we're going to go into the left eye, and I'm going to tell her to take that forehand and go on. See, I'm putting myself between this. There we go. Now we got a little action there. I want to take this in. I don't want this to be personal for her. We're trying to get her livened up without getting her annoyed. Okay? Oh my God, now she looks like a sausage. Come on. Come on. Don't be hiding behind that bush. Let's go. Now I think she thinks she's done. There's probably more work than she's done in 3 years. Now we'll see. This is a really good indicator that she needs to learn how to lead up. So I was really just fooling around there. Hi, can you come here now? I'm gonna put that there. Can you come over there? Can you go? There. That's better. Can you keep going? Now, she has this way of coming right back and expecting trouble. So I'm gonna offer this float right here. There we go. Good girl. Getting there. There we are. All right, so this would be the alternative to having a crop or a whip or a flag or something to just completely piss her off and then have her turn around and attack you. Because she's quite happy out there. This is an 8-meter rope. And I'm here and she's there, okay? So, I'm going to lead her now somewhere. Now, this is proof that I don't like to be crowded. Rick, maybe you could repeat that for me. What I just said.
Leslie's just saying she doesn't like to be crowded, and she's going to try to lead this horse from a distance.
She has a very quick start. I hope that there's a lot of people that will like this horse. We're going to do our best. Yeah? Now she's leading. Kind of. How long have you had her?
She really needs a chance for someone to spend the time with her.
She's going to make a nice horse for somebody. No, not there. That's better. Hey, she got the point now. Hey, because besides, if I come back here, you see, this is money in the bank on this one. She knows that you want to scratch her here. She'll be a lot less likely to kick you.
Let's see what she's doing to the stall wall.
Well, I don't know. I'd keep her out. If she's wrecking your barn, I'd keep her out.
No, she's not wrecking.
As she scratches her butt on the wall.
Oh, I see. Now, I'm going to see whether maybe she was a little driving horse. Maybe not. This doesn't look like any driving horse to me. She's built for it, though. Now she's going to be wondering what to do. She's got a good back. Okay, don't get concerned now. Just chill out. This is a good thing to teach her. She's really nice about her feet. I'll say that much. Okay? Now look. Can you go forward here? Can you go? Here? Can you go forward? There. Okay? Go ahead. Let's go ahead again. We're not, this look here, that look, you can quit that. Okay? You don't need to do that. That's wasted bad energy on me. Wasted bad energy. Go ahead now. Okay, there's my two legs. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Okay. She seems to think that there's quite a bit of opportunity to have me experiment, which is exactly what I'm doing and what I should be doing. I mean, could I make her do some stuff right now? You bet. Would it look nice? No. You could definitely make this horse do a lot of things, but she already shows you how horrible she looks when she's not happy, so why do more of that? Okay, can we go now? Oh, you're gonna kick? I don't think so. Come on, let's go. Come on, you gotta get up here. Come on. Okay, so I'm gonna give her one swat over the shoulder. Come on. She got that point. Come on.
Okay. You hold this for me and then who's going to truck and get the barking dog.
If you can find a cigarette, I'd love it.
There we go. Now she's on her way a little bit better. And I will bring her up here. We got to get this walking part. Come on, horsey. Come on. So, I'm going to get in time with her feet now, and I'm going to stop her right there. Good girl. Now she got that part figured out. That's better. So, as soon as Rick moves his car, I guess he took the car because the dogs were barking, right? All right. So you guys see, I got this rope. I got it here. Now in a minute here, she's going to do some other things. We're just working our way into the program. Come on. Come on. Come on. There you go. Come on. Come on. Get her mind on the right thing. Trying to get her mind on the right thing. Not on fighting. I don't fight horses. Not these short ones anyway. Come on. before. Come on.
Okay.
Get up in there.
Thanks.
Now we'll bring her. I can see the kind of people that she's been around. They give up easily. She runs the show. And to some degree, she's running my show at the moment. But it doesn't matter because her life is her show. So if I want to help her get in the right hands, you got to see how she got where she is. Look at that posture there. Rick, you got a still camera on that horse there? Look at the posture on this thing. You see what she's doing with her neck? Just look. Okay? So I'm going to go on the other side. You got to notice these small things. Okay? Now she got it. There. So let's talk about all her good qualities. Her good qualities is that when she livens up, she doesn't take the bridge of her nose. Would you please ask that lady to stop filming me? Hello?
Oh, she's talking on her phone.
Okay, that's okay. Whatever it is. I'm sorry, hon. We've got a film going here. We're really trying the best we can to leave this horse in a learning frame of mind and in a positive frame of mind. I mean, she is built like a brick shit house, this thing. She's perfect. Absolutely perfect for whatever you want to do. Not the Grand Prix, not Olympics, not dressage. But if you want to take a horse out in the woods, drag something, go camping, you want to do anything you want with her, but you can see that she has not been handled on the right at all. Look at her neck. She's completely braced with that into that shoulder. So I'm going to actually ask her now to lead up, okay? I'm going to take this line here, and we're going to get her going here. See how I did that? You got to release that hip and bring her up to me now. I get in one eye, and I just release this here off my hand, and up she comes. There you go. Thank you. Okay, and that's how you release them. That's how you release the feet. It's as simple as that. It's kind of like if you like what you saw, you got to do what I did. And because otherwise a horse like this would give you a nervous condition. Right? Are you guilty of giving people a nervous condition? She said, no, because I'm thinking about going over there. There are no nervous conditions over there. But she's got a very understandable, I bet as a foal she was as cute as could be. No, we're over here now. We got to teach her a little bit about an outside leg. There you go. Now, I just released her down the hill and right back to me. So now we got her freed up, you see. Okay, that'll do it right there now. That's enough of that. You're actually rather agreeable now. You look much better. Hey, look. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry. Come here. Come here. Maybe she's got something there. No, you're all right. I think she's kind of cute. If somebody just spent some time with her, she'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to take her shoulders the other way. I'm going to take her shoulders to her right, and I'm going to have her go down there and right up here. Okay. But you can see that the disturbance in her head and the tightness in her body is to a great degree has to do with having been set up to fail and been corrected for not succeeding at something she didn't understand exactly how to do. That's where this little sadness is in her. She's a little bit sad because she thinks she might have to fail in order to have the day go well for somebody else. Now, I want her shoulders there. I'll release her down the hill. Off we go. That's a little better than before. Now, she got done there and I was out of position, so I'm not gonna do anything except wait for her. Okay? Now take her shoulders the other way. She's funny. I'm gonna use this little helping hand there. There she goes. So, we're gonna do more now. We're gonna just move her out. Come on, come on. But you see, even with that, she doesn't take the slack out of the rope. She only goes to the end of the rope, comes right back. Come on. But I like that she can just go through that whole little thing and then stand there with her foot waiting for the next instruction. You coming? Come on. Come on, you know you haven't had so much fun in a long time. Let's go. So that... Okay, so I'm in time with her feet now. Okay? Right, left, stop. Ah, that was a good stop. Did you get that, Rick? Oh, very nice stopping. So she's catching on. What she's understanding is that she's not going to get a spanking. You're not going to get a spanking. Okay? No spankings here. No spankings.
That's the ear. Like, her ears aren't mad, but they're worried.
No, she has worry because she's been wrong a lot in people's mind. But I think she's fine. So I'm sure she's fine. I don't know for who. Who are you fine for? Huh? Look at my pants.
You're down to 20% battery.
Okay. Well, can you ask if anybody has a question or would like to see something else, and then we can come back at 1 o'clock like we planned.
Okay.
And
So any questions, post them here, and Leslie will be back at 1 o'clock.
yeah, we'll work until a little bit more, and then we'll plug the phone in
Okay.
if we can find a plug.
Yeah, we can use my truck.
Okay. All right. So I'll work a little bit more here now. I want her to be able to come through a turn without getting pissed off and thinking about kicking me. So here. There we go. Not bad. Good girl. Now we'll bring her out before she has to face up and rear. We're going to bring her up here and stop her right there. Plop. Good girl. Look how fancy you are in the morning. Very nice. She's, oh, see? Looks like she's taking a bow. Very good. That was very nice how you did that. She's proud now. Doesn't she look proud? Where you going? Is it time? You're going to show them, or is it time to go? I think it's, she said it right there. It's time to go. She feels like that was a long enough lesson. Now, what we'll find out is whether she's nice enough to stay or whether she runs off and kicks you on the way by. Well, I like her even more. Hi. You were just calling your friend. Okay, so you can stay here with me, and we'll finish our interview like this. Oh, okay. So, Rick, if you bring that camera over here a little bit closer, then I don't have to. You can just get right there, perhaps, and I'll be giving her a little back rub while I talk about her for a minute. So, what we started with was somebody who's kind of on the fight, kind of defensive, kind of unsure, and now she's sure that I'm not going to bother her. I'm sure that she's not going to crowd me. I'm sure that I can ask her to look over there and release her head and shoulders to the right. I'm going to show you how this is done. I don't mean just down to the right there. I want her to look down there. Now, how I know it? No, we're not doing that. No, we're not going to do that. I'll help her get this thing figured out now. I'll bring her head over here a little bit. See if I can bring her on. Now, in a different kind of situation, I wouldn't be loose with a horse like this that I didn't know this well, where I couldn't control the bridge of the nose, because she clearly has shown that she will kick. She's clearly shown she will knock you down. She's clearly shown she doesn't really respect or like people very much. But we have something going that's a little bit different, and I'll show you how it works just in terms of her mind and her little self. See, if I take her here and I come back over here, I've got her. That's the point. And I can stand her up here, straighten her out, and go right to her body, because she and I are already clear about how things work, okay? And that's what happens when you start to release them instead of hit them or be aggressive in a circle. They'll just turn themselves completely over to you like she just did. Okay, so it's not that I'm anybody fancy or going to do something in a certain fancy way. It's just that when you understand how they're put together, control of their feet does not happen at the head. It does in one way. If you have to get the bridge of the nose, you want to keep the back feet off you. You have to keep the bridge of the nose on the other side. But as far as having a horse stand and wait and tell you what they want, they're pretty good at all of this. And she was so just happy to find out that I would do a little something for her. And our trade is, I'll do whatever you want behind the shoulder, but your head and neck and those nasty ears going back and those teeth on me like you had in the start, all of that is out of the question, you see. So those are things that once you and a horse get clear about that, you don't ever need to get to that crescendo or to that spot. Now that wasn't any good for me, so she can have that and think about it. She's used to having people lean on her. I would never turn around and do one more thing to rebuke her or punish her. She was only going on other assumptions from other people. And when you rub on a horse, it's really important to use your fingers or a stone, or by the time you're actually using your body into their body, it's really important to remember that you're training them to push you. And if you have an electric fence behind you, or you're in a horse trailer, or they get stung by a bee and you're next to them, they will have absolutely no reason not to think you won't move. So you don't want to set them up to fail by turning them into a... She's got to weigh 1,000 pounds. 900.
And she's been on a diet. She weighs less than she did when she got here.
She's too fat. Anyway, she's lovely, and we'll work with her again at 1 o'clock. So we'll be back. Have your questions. I'll look at them. And yeah, this was sort of unplanned, but Kurt was here to introduce her, and we'll let her think about what she learned, and then at 1 o'clock maybe she'll have more to offer. Okay, so can you make a picture down there where she is, just for a minute, because now she's, yeah, perfect. All right, well that was my first little feel and release to demo in a field, and we'll see how it goes. So how do I put it back to me and then say goodbye? How do I get the camera here to me? Okay. Okay, there we are. All right, I didn't want to just say goodbye without really saying goodbye. Okay. Yeah, goodbyes can be tough, but not when you have a horse kicking you out of the way. Then that's an easy kind of goodbye. But I don't think she'll do that. She's really very quick to learn, and I would like to go through, for all of you who don't know me or don't really understand why there was value in this. It just probably looks like some lady still in airport pants going out in the field with a fat pony and just messing around. Well, that's exactly what it was, so that's why it looked that way. But what else are we going to do if we're not going to mess around with the horses? I mean, it's not like she has a real job. Her real job is eating at the moment and trying to find a new home. What I like about her a lot is how smart she is and how forgiving. I got blamed for quite a few things that have been done to her in the past that I had no knowledge of until she showed me what she expected. And then I did not answer those. I didn't get involved with that part of the conversation. And so when you refrain from engaging in something that is unpleasant, then you have a more pleasant time. That's as simple as that, whether it's dogs, people, family, or horses, or anything, or your own mind. You are in charge of you. Direct it. That's it. Direct it, enjoy it. If it's not fun, change it. That's all I can say. And this little horse, I'm sure, could be really unpleasant if you wanted to push some certain buttons. But I don't know why anybody would not want to have the absolute best time with her. Look at her there. Look at her. She's got a friend. She's got a great big body to carry somebody who is heavy and doesn't want to be up high. So if you're a little bit out of shape, or you weigh more than you want to, or you're bigger than you can be, comfortable on a big horse, getting up with knees or whatever, she'd be a perfect little horse. She's like a small tractor. Anyway, that's as much of a sales pitch as I'm going to give on that little thing, because we'll see how well she is at 1 o'clock when I get back. I hope you had fun. I did. And I'm going to change my clothes and put together some notes. I'll look and see what you may have written about your thoughts or observations. Please don't hesitate to be honest in your feedback. You can see that I got a thick enough hide to take the truth from people, so if you have critique or comment or questions about why I do what I do, lay it on. All right, I'll see you later. Bye. Some of these people coming up for 1 o'clock didn't know we did this at 11. We didn't plan it. Anyway, hi, thank you for coming.
Loud and clear, they say.
Excuse me?
They can hear you.
Okay, good, thanks. This is Star. Star is gonna hopefully let me ride her. We'll see how long I stay on. I'm not gonna do any daredevil stuff, but I think she doesn't mind certain things that we do. She sort of knows after this morning that that there's a job that's maybe a little different from some other jobs she's had. She's slightly fat, but I'm informed that she was 200 pounds fatter very recently. I think she'd like me to get up there, so I'll probably just do it. Hi. She thinks this is wonderful, and I also think it's wonderful. Also a little bit dangerous, so I'll wait. Jody Campbell, don't you have a heart attack now? You can see that I don't have on a bridle. You can see that I am not a good example for everybody getting on a horse like this, but I did not commit. Don't do this. What do you say? Don't do this. Don't try this at home.
Don't do what I do. Don't just do what I say.
No,
Don't try this at home.
No, I don't want. What I'm trying to do is to scratch her back, since we've already established that she likes this a lot. I'm gonna just get her, because how many people did you say she unloaded? We don't know.
Don't know.
We ought to get the owner to tell us the story on this horse. Anyhow, if she can tolerate some of this, it's pretty good. I'm scratching her back. She's loving it. And that's what I want to do. I'm just doing things. You make it up as you go, but you got to have guidelines. I mean, you can't be stupid about this, because people die in this all the time with horses. I'm not trying to say don't buy a horse, but look, it doesn't have to always strike you as the safest thing in the world, because it isn't. So what we'll do here, I'm just going to ask her here, we'll just plop that on her back. I'm going to do what's called changing eyes now, okay? I'm going to put that there. That's my right leg. Now she doesn't seem to mind terribly much, but we would like her to go. So let's go. Come on, let's take one step. Come on, one step, that's all I ask. One step, please. There was one step. Whoop, got her by the back leg, look at that. So that's good. I got her by the back leg, we'll find out. It's very good when you see these kind of things, because what you find out is that she doesn't care. If she did care, I would deal with it. She wants to go over there, I'm going here. So we can have her think about that. Okay, she wasn't leading very well before. I'll see how she lunges now. A little bit better until it's not. Now right there where she didn't decide to rear up at me, I gotta come closer. Rick, is that too hard to do from in there?
No, that spot where you were is pretty good to keep the rail out of the picture. Right, about another 10 meters out into the circle there.
So I'll see if I can get her to lunge around me a little bit. We'll just do what we can do without hopefully not getting her upset. I think that's better. But the thing to remember is that these horses are a dime a dozen. Horses that nobody wants are everywhere. So we got to try to turn her into a horse that somebody wants. Come on, you're going to show her to advantage. Now this is a lot better than we had an hour ago. Oh, now we're getting into this department. Come on, get up. Stop all that. Come on. Good girl. We're not interested in the attitude. And she would like to think about kicking me with that leg there, but she won't. Come on. Come on. There. Now that's good for enough. I don't like how she shifts that hip into me at all. Now watch here, we're going to have our stop right there. Now, I'm also going to tell her, look out now. Look out now. Don't leave. What I like about her is that she doesn't pull away. Whoops, I scared your horse. Sorry. Oh, I see. Come here, horsey. All right, so here we have her, 25 feet away. So I'm going to show you how to release her to me, because she apparently, Kurt, you said she didn't lead worth a damn, right? Okay, so watch here. I'm going to release a coil to her. Right off the back of my hand. There we go. Come on, horsey. You coming? I have to get a little bit of a better angle here. And here she comes. That's all you got to do. You just got to release that hip, see? I'll come over and show you more closely how to do this. And then, see, look here. We'll get right here and show you. You do like this. You just take it here and you drop it. And that drop goes right through that horse. That picks up a hip. One hip will pick up another foot in the front, and then you're on your way. Because to move a front foot, if you're just pulling on that rope, see, you're loading the whole forehand with that horse, pulling them right into the forehand. So it's better if you release a coil off your hand, and if you're off on an angle a little bit, that'll lift a hip up, and then whatever hip comes up, the front foot on the same side will come up right after that, and then you're on your way. Because to lift up a hip is nothing. You just, look, I'll show you again. You can try it on your rope. You can go buy your own ropes. You can buy ropes from me. This is the only rope I sell, this kind of rope. I sell them in, what do I have them? 12, 15, 18, 20, and 25 foot lengths, that's it. And I'm very bad on sales. I have so much of these ropes because I don't spend any time selling them. I have them on Desmond Outfitter is the name of my little business, but I don't sell much equipment. People don't really understand the value of it, but this rope, I will just tell you, carries the best feel of any rope I've ever used. Look how I have it here, and you can do this with any rope. Any rope you can do it. There. So as that comes off your hand, it goes straight into this horse's head. He says, what was that? He moves a hip, then he moves a front foot, and now you're already on your way. So if you can get 2 feet on a release, there's no point in pulling his weight into the forehand. Okay? Now where was I? What were we going to do?
You were going to get on.
Oh yeah, but I got to get him ready.
Leslie,
Yes.
She was green broke when she got her as a 3-year-old. She's had maybe a year or 2 of riding time.
Oh, she's been ridden for a year or 2, she says. Why don't you ask her how many people she's bucked off? That would be nice before I get on there in my airport pants with no saddle. I'm still in the airport pants. I got to find my stuff. I know, it sounds so silly, doesn't it? But it's the truth. You can't go to the airport with barn clothes, but you can darn sure ride in airport pants. They look like barn clothes after 1 minute with me. Yeah, let's have her tell the truth now. Yep. We don't want any half-truths on this horse. I like her, though. 1 year of riding, that should be enough. 1 year of riding and how many knocks in the head? Well, come here now. Come here. I knocked you.
Define riding.
Is that what she said?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, define riding. Well, that's why I asked how many people has she put to the ground.
I wrote it as cotton.
Well, the point is this. I mean, come on. She's short and fat, and she's only, what am I going to do, follow meter? That's not what you're concerned about on a tank like this. It's getting kicked on the way by. Anyhow, I'm going to get on her right here just a little bit. Won't I? I get on there just a little bit.
She's never bucked anyone off.
Well then, okay. Well then why was her riding career so short?
Time, money.
All right. Okay, so she's not really built for bucking anyway, so I'm not too worried about it.
No, she seems to rear up more than buck.
Okay, would one of you guys mind getting my bridle out of Rick's car so I can not leave these people just looking at the top of my helmet? I feel sorry for them. Sorry, everybody.
Don't let my dogs out.
Rick's truck is up at the hill.
Okay, did you hear that, Ann? Be careful not to let the dogs out, okay?
There's 2 doggies there.
Okay. And well, you have to, the gear, honey, the gear is in the passenger seat on the floor in a canvas bag. Just bring the whole bag, okay? Thank you.
She's had her 2 daughters on her at the fair, so.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. This is an old grandma's horse. She's had 2 kids.
Yeah, my kids used to ride her.
Kids used to ride her at the fair.
On her
well, I'm not really too surprised to hear that. The concern would be that she goes to somebody who's not interested in trying to tune her up or show her who's boss, because this horse is already pretty clear who's boss. And the reason that I'm saying this like this is because if you can take a horse that has learned how to bite, kick, rear, run off with you, push you over. If you can have a horse that has those qualities and not think about them and think about all the other things that she could do well, then you have a nice horse. You just have to, because every horse that there is can be taught how to buck and kick and bite and run off with you and put you in the ground and rear and flip over and any other number of things. It's a no-brainer. You just, thank you. Okay, so here comes my little bridle. We're going to go for a ride. I can't wait. I haven't ridden in a long time. And this one here, look, oh my goodness, look how fat you are. So now that I know your story, now she thinks she needs to bite. All right, so what we're going to do, as soon as I get my bridle down here, I'm going to show you guys how to lunge in this bridle I have. The other thing I'm going to show you is the cadence of the footfall, and why it's so important to back a horse up to get a good stop. We're going to do that if we have the time. Do we have any battery? Is that working, do you think, or are we on empty?
It's not giving any warnings. I think we're good as long as we stay plugged in.
Okay, I bet somebody might say. Honey, just that bridle right there would be lovely. It should be one with some, there you go. Thank you. I got it just here, sweetie, right here. Thank you.
Yeah, got lots of
Appreciate
comments.
that. Okay, well, they're going to have some comments here in a minute. I'll tell you that. Haven't done anything yet. I don't know what they could be possibly saying. All right, so because of this rather impromptu situation, I will like to point out this mare's very nice qualities. And this is no kidding. She is smart. She knows how to stand. She'll lead up on 25 feet when you release her to you. I'm not going to talk too much about her lunging at the moment because she doesn't lunge very well at all. But she could be taught that in a moment. She has been ridden for 1 solid year, and the woman who is needing to find a new home for her has had her 2 children ride her at the fairs. As long as that's a true statement, I would say that that's probably a pretty good recommendation for somebody.
Especially up here, the fairs are pretty scary places.
Okay, then the fairs up here are scary places. I've been to a couple. What kind of a stance is that? It's a strange way to stand. Oh, I see what she's getting ready to do. I see what it is. She was just telling me that this was the spot. She was getting ready to do something rather major. Okay, there. Okay, I think that's enough of that now. So, what I'm going to do, Rick, can you see me now if I'm out here?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and back this mare up, and we're going to back a couple circles, or part of circles, so you can see how to get control of this forehand. All right? I'm just going to ask her here to back up by lifting her head up. That's a nice way. Okay, now she's not upset a little bit. She's upset a little bit, but I think she knows I'm not going to hurt her. Come on, can you think about backing up now? Let's go. There we go. Okay, now she's thinking about coming forward, so I'll say, all right, 1 step forward. She wants to roll. I gotta let her do it. If she does it right now out here, right at this moment, her wish is my command. Okay, so she doesn't think I'm doing the right scratching job. She might have to take care of it herself. Let's remember, this horse hasn't been understood or really managed or handled much, so letting her do what she wants is not spoiling her. It's just a matter of trying to get along with her on her terms. And there's nothing wrong with that, because if you have a real partner, and you are a partner, then you understand that the balance can go 100 in each direction, rarely 50-50, usually somewhere between 45, 55, 60, 40. It's where most people hang. Some go 70-30. The real situations that are prolonged pain in the ass go 90-10, 85-15% for long periods of time. That's tough in partnership balances. But oh, she's trying to bridle herself. Look at this. Did you see that? You see her reach for this bit and take it? Okay, I get that point. That was kind of cute. All right, we'll see what she says to this. Maybe she'd really like, oh, she's trying to climb right up here. I think this horse is going to have a lovely home. Sooner than later, I think I might have just got a new idea for a business. Go around the country with my little phone, trying to help people sell their horses that they don't know how to get rid of. I have to have a horse that's worth having a new owner, but that would be kind of fun. We'll see what happens now, okay? I want to see how she takes a bridle. Her backup, I already know, is willing enough. I'm not going to pound that into the ground because she immediately tired of it. Now, I know, I can hear you guys thinking, how are you going to let her tell you what to do? Well, I am to a point, but right now, I didn't let her tell me about that. Right now, I just kicked her for jumping over me and trying to push me around. That's one thing I will not let a horse do is push on me. Not even 1 second. And the reason is, if you let them push on you, I'll just tell you right now, they find out how strong you're not. Do not complain when the whole horse flattens you like a pancake to the wall. I have a friend who had her ribs crashed down in a stock trailer. She was a width of a wafer. She loved on her horses and petted them and pushed them around, and when they were sweaty they could rub on her and this and that, and let's do this and let's really get into it after we take the bridle off. Let's not. You want to end up 4 inches thick with your ribs poking out underneath your throat? Go ahead. You'll see me hit a horse that comes in like that. That's about the only thing you will time you will see me hit one. That's very nice backing. The attitude is terrible. But you see, when she pins her ears like that, and she gets that dark eye and that sclera coming out for that, she just is ready for the fight. That doesn't mean that she will fight. It means that she's ready and is ready, because these are the circumstances here where somebody hand-fed her and then punched her in the face for being there. You can feel it there. She's been set up to fail by being somebody's little doo-doo, sweetie, okay? And so she has no problem knocking me in the arm to get over here, okay? Now, I'm not going to do anything to retaliate, because this is not tit for tat. We are not in this thing about you push me, I push you. Let's remember, I'm blocking her full vision now in the right eye. If she wants to see, that's within her rights. She doesn't know how else to ask. Any horse that's been led like this, like a bouquet of flowers or a bunch of balloons onto the neck, already hates people being around their face anyway. Who wants to be led by the mouth? How'd you like somebody put their finger right in your lip and drag you through town? Disgusting. Right? Would you just chill? There you saw it. All I had to do was look at her and she was ready to get a smash in the face. So we'd like that part to come out, because a horse that's like this, if you do fall off, they're not going to wait for you. But you're not also going to crowd me anymore too. You can wait back here. You had no problem waiting at the end of 25 feet. You can wait there now. Do you think any people are on here now, Rick?
Lots.
Oh, I see. We're doing it like we promised, with help from our friends. We have our phone plugged in. You think it's still freezing cold up here? That's correct. Notice, coat, vest, this. All right? All you people in Barcelona, check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers. There. I know you're sweating it out there. Okay. So now, now it is getting warm. So now, come on, look what I got going here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bridle this horse up. I'm going to take another layer off. Can you believe in the end of June I'm over here like this? All right, now we're getting there. And what we're learning about her is also good, because you can see she can stand on a rope. She knows how to move her foot off a rope. That's another good feature of this horse. And I think, honestly, I don't think she'll kick you unless she's running past you and thinks you deserve it. I think that's the only time you'll get kicked by this horse. If she's on the move, you're in the wrong position, and she's thinking that you need a kick in the head, she'll probably give it to you. Come here. We'll get that out of her, though. All right, now, Girly, she says, what in the world is all this laundry? Isn't that something? Look what I did here. Can you believe it? And she's going to check all this out. I'm going to get ready to ride. That's interesting to her, all that stuff. All right, so what I want to point out before we do any other thing is that this mare is set up to succeed. She is nice. I don't care if she's got these other habits. You can go down through any barn and find a horse will bite you in the face in a show barn. You can go down anywhere and find, you talk to any farrier, how many horses a week does he work on the kick that are supposedly worth over 50,000 or 10,000? I know plenty of them like that. Anyhow, she's waiting here. That's partner enough for me. I've sure had to go through town after a few, so we don't have that problem.
We have incoming company here.
Who? Oh my goodness. Yes, a buzzard. All right. Now, I will go through an equipment discussion later. I would just like to point out that this mare is waiting at the mounting block. So I think her plans are clear. She certainly got a load of my plans. She picked the bridle up by the bit a little while ago and dragged it over toward my hand. I don't think you can get any clearer than that. Okay. So, Fatty.
Come on, there's no big, there was a roll up there.
Okay, I know. Now, I'm going to do something I often don't do. I think she wants to go with me enough. I'm just going to drop this bridle here and see whether she can really make the point. Oh, there she goes. All right, so there. She didn't hang out. That gives me an opportunity to go get her and bring her back. I thought she was going to wait for the bridle, and I'm glad you saw that, because isn't it fun to just see me wrong? What do we lose? Nothing. We lose nothing. And I like the way she left. All these small things. She didn't chew anything. She didn't kick. She didn't push. She didn't bump into things. I just like watching them. You find out she's not careless. She thinks she's starving to death, but she's not. Let me put all these extra layers somewhere else. Thanks, Kurt. All right, I'll go get her. Be right back. Rick, could you ask them if they have any questions?
If anyone has questions, post them now.
She really should have taken a picture of this pony when she first came with that big roll of fat on the back.
There we go. Come here. Come on. There we are. Yes, we are. All right. So, we learned something else about her by letting her walk off. Look what we found out. We found out that we can go up, take her off grass while she's eating, and she's just pretty darn nice about it. Come here. Now, wait a second. That grass is really, probably you've had enough of that, haven't you? All right, so we'll see how she likes her bridle. And I'm just going to drop this under her mouth.
Somebody's
Offer it to her.
asking what kind of saddle would you use on her?
Well, that is a good point. That is a good question.
Draft
Maybe-
size.
Well, I think what you could do, come here. We're not going to force this on your mouth. We're not going to force that in your mouth. Come here. We're not going to force it. Just open.
Yeah.
That's a girl. That's a girl. Now look. Just a second here. Just a second here. She's used to being bridled in a bit of a hurry, I think. Why don't you open up gently? That's a girl. And then let me lift this up in here. There you go. She got a little bit ahead of me there in the defensiveness. We'll put the ear over there in, and this ear, and this ear. Hey, you. What kind of saddle? I don't know. That's a very good question. I'm going to have to sit up there myself in a minute, see what I think. Maybe no saddle. I think it'd be nice if people started riding bareback again, wouldn't it? On the right back. I mean, this is a perfect, somebody wanted to learn how to ride bareback. This is a great horse to do it on. All right, you all right there? Now,
You're over the bit.
this, yeah, but it doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter?
No, it doesn't. People get pretty worked up about the tongue getting over the bit. It's their tongue. I leave it over there. I'll go for a whole ride like that, and that'll be the last time they do it. That's their tongue. I mean, if they don't know it feels terrible, then, you know, you can show them by just letting them eat. Feed them some hay. Okay? So, let's see what happens now. Okay, could be very interesting. Will be very interesting. All right, so I'm going to shorten this up. Looks like we're just going to miss the rain. Okay? Now, this is very impromptu and very... Here. Okay, so she's got some real misunderstandings about what this is all about. And a lot of it has to do with the way that she was managed. Yeah, things were presented in a way I think that were a little bit disturbing and unclear to her. And that's okay. Usually, when people ride for the first time or the second or the 10th time, it's very usual, it's very normal that people also have things presented to them and a horse in a way that's disturbing and unclear. You can't possibly match your fantasy about yourself as a rider in the first 10 lessons, and that gets very disappointing to people who have a lot of ambition. You know, who doesn't want to be a good rider on the first shot or the 100th? Are you kidding me? I still take riding lessons.
I was going to say, we're still working on it.
Yeah, I'm still working on it. Just show me a new horse and I'll tell you how many skills I don't have. Yeah, that's true of anybody, I think. I mean, you certainly, the more you're in this, but the thing is, I can already hear it now. I can already hear people saying, I don't know why you're showing some of these sloppy things, these ropes all around and this and that. This has got to be a family backyard horse that can put up with errors, mistakes. I have had my rope on the ground around this horse since we started this morning, because the thing is, if you can't have a rope around a horse on the ground, that means you can never afford to make that mistake. So on a horse that we're trying to find a home for today, right? You better show all the things that people do. Go here, go there, stuff on the ground, put your coat there. Doesn't matter. Okay, now she is telling me that she wants this thing off. She does not want any part of this. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to take it off her, but not really. I'm going to drop it down right here so that she can really work at spitting this out. I'm not going to drop it low enough so that she can, but I'm going to let her think that it's a really good idea, and then she'll figure out where to put her tongue. Okay, so I've got that right in front of her teeth pretty quick here while I'm busy getting on and off her and letting her see about that part. She can be working on where she'd like to hold that bit, because it's her mouth. So you don't want anybody telling you how to work your tongue in your mouth, do you? That gets kind of personal. Are there any questions, Rick, from anybody?
There was a question about what kind of saddle that you might use, and there was another question about what you do when you first back a horse.
Oh, okay. You mean on the ground or under saddle?
I think they meant back by put it under saddle.
Oh, I see. To back a horse.
Yes.
I see. Oh, well. Let me say one thing also. It was told to me on the internet, on Facebook, through someone told someone that this horse has been ridden for a year, but do you think I believe it? Don't just remember. It was good to hear that, and I'm glad somebody's 2 kids have been on there at the fairs, but I could sit up here maybe and just go right up out of the picture. So
someone else is asking why you're choosing to ride in a bridle instead of a halter.
The reasons are too long to get into at this moment, but that is a good question. One of the reasons is, well, it's too long to get into at the moment. Let me just say, experience has shown me in a situation like this that that's the best move. Okay, you can take it or leave it. That's the smartest thing for me to do. I can give you a few reasons. I'm 64 years old. I've had I'm maxed out on head injuries. I've broken my back 3 times. If I can't get a turn when I need one in a halter, I will be able to get one in a bridle. So there's that. But the other thing is, I'm damn sure she has not been ridden in a halter as well. So the short answer is, it's about controlling the feet if I need to. And what you're really hearing there is, if I need to put some power into her face to get her to turn so that I don't fall off or hit go through that fence, then that's what I'm prepared to do. The short answer is it's a smart thing to do under these circumstances. The compassionate thing, if I was 30 years old and I could afford a few more trips to the ground at top speed, I'd probably cut her some slack and show off in a rope and halter. But I got nothing to prove, except I need to walk out of here feeling good and go have dinner later. But I also want to say, I hasten to add, that was a good question, and I did not mean to make this sound like a wise guy answer. But the fact of the matter is, this horse doesn't know a hell of a lot about how to pack a bit well, and she needs to learn it. This is would be a great horse for a driving horse, and there's nothing wrong about putting a snaffle bit or a French link bit in a horse's mouth if you know what to do with the reins. It's the mind behind the hand that is going to determine what that mouth feels like and whether or not you're going to get down to the feet through the mouth or not. So my goal right now is to sit on her and scratch her fat back. That's about it, okay? If she decides to go for a little ride with me and I decide to go on that ride, that's what we'll do. But for the moment, I want her to have me above her, and I want to make sure she can even lead off a leading rein, okay? Every single horse that I have had of mine, I set them up in every bit there is, okay? I don't want a horse that I pass on or get rid of. I don't want a horse that I pass on or get rid of ever to have someone else's introduction to a bit that could be misused. So the horses that I've had that I've raised and trained myself, I've put every bit you can buy on them. Taught them how to pack it so they don't get scared when they feel some strange thing in their mouth. Why do I do that? I do that, there we go. And wait on her a little bit. Why do I do that? I do that because your horse leaves your place, your horse goes out into the open market. There's anywhere from 1 to 2 to 10 to 20,000 people going to look at a horse on the internet, maybe more. You don't know these people's hands or what they're going to do. The more you can show your horse about what's possible and to have a good reaction to it, the better they'll get along with anybody who can come out and find them, come out and buy them from you. So now we're not really in any huge hurry here. We just want to be sure we can lead her in both directions, turn her in both directions. Come on here, Spatzo. Come on now. Yeah, that's good. But I wouldn't say, I think, Alice, you're probably exactly right. There, how's that for you? That feel better, doesn't it? Yes, it does. All right, so now that she knows where she wants it, she's figured that out, I'm going to go ahead and put it up there for her. Are there any more questions there, Rick?
Not yet.
Okay. Could you ask that person? There you go, you fixed it. She put it where she wanted.
So you just did that before you get on, to let her decide.
Yeah, I wanted to let her know that if she wants to put her tongue under it or over it, it's her choice. I gave it long enough so she could set it. So now yeah, she's got it right now. But now I want to make sure she can be led somewhere. Come on, let's go. There we go. Now we're going. And we want to make sure we have a left turn. And we want to make sure we have a right turn. So in answer to what do I do before I get on a horse, I make sure that this horse is ready to ride. Now, this horse might not be ready to ride, but again, I said, it's only 1.5 meters to the ground. The only thing you want to make sure of on a horse like this is she doesn't kick you when you're down there. I'm not worried about falling off. I'm worried about her maneuverability. And right now, she's maneuverable. She's doing a beautiful job. Come on here. Isn't it time to be scratched right here? We can do some of this now, can't we? Yeah? Now what I used to do when I was in Arizona, I was starting colts by myself in the desert. I used to pony myself on a colt. I'd pony myself on a colt. I'd tie that horse off to another saddle, and I'd have my saddle horse, I'd lunge my saddle horse from the back of the colt I was starting, and I'd have it tied short enough on my saddle horn. I had her right up there so that she couldn't put her head down between her knees and buck me off. I took my first 5 rides there, lunging myself through the desert down there in Florence, Arizona. That's what I did. And then when I was teaching, when I got so I could ride her pretty well like that, there's a lot of things you have to look out for in the desert, you know. Cholla for one thing. That cactus, man. Whew. You get some cholla on your horse or your leg, you won't have any problem speeding up. And by the way you jump when that cholla hits you, your horse, if it's green horse, you better be careful because you buck yourself right off. Come on up in here. Come on here. Listen. Come on, please. What don't you get about step up here for me? Good girl. Now, you seem to be going way over there. You seem to be going. Now, poor Jody, she's having a fit right now. You do. There you are. There we are. Now, we're not going anywhere. What we're going to do is we're going to show her how well I get off. The first thing a horse needs to know when you put them in a trailer is how long they're going to be in there. It shouldn't be long. First thing that happens when you tighten a bit or a girth, you want to make sure that they know that it can come off when they need it. Okay? So right now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lower this bit way down for her and I'm going to take it right out of there for her. Now she can have it like that. She'll think I don't know anything about having a bridle on. There, she thought that was just fine. Come here. Now this goes to show you here where the advantage is to having a well-educated neck. This horse has no educated neck. Now as soon as she has the bit out of her mouth, she thinks that she can just leave or do what she wants. If you had an educated neck, you'd go and ride in a rope and halter and you'd go have an educated neck and then you just ride your neck. That's all I do. That's all I'm preparing to do on this horse. Okay, so right now, I'll go right here. I'll see if I can bridle her up again from here. I'll get on her. I wanted to let her out of that bridle because she was getting distressed. And I don't want her distressed. That's the last thing I want on Beauty. She is really sweet. So do people think she's nice, Rick?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that this is a Hefflinger pony crowd, really. But it could be. You never know.
The other half's POA.
Yeah, that's nice. Come here now. Yeah.
So it depends on which part of her you want to work. If you think you need the Hefflinger side, well, food always works. And POA, well, you might have to outthink them. But
I wonder if they like that sloppy backcountry way I put that bridle on. I'm just trying to show you what this horse can put up with, which is, she gets it, you know? Hold still, I want to get on you. Hold still, we're going for a ride. Hold still, I'm doing my gear. I'm going to go riding on her now. I think she's ready. We'll see.
You have a request for
What'd you say?
You have a request for a session on educating the neck.
Okay, good. Yes.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, no, that's going to be great. Do we have enough battery?
As long as we stay plugged in, we're good.
Okay, and who asked that question on the neck?
Who asked that question? Jennifer Ann.
Hi, Jennifer. Yeah, I'd be happy to answer it. It's a really important thing, and it's a great topic, great question, and it's basically the key to what I do that other people like to learn from me probably more than anything is how to get that neck going. And it doesn't matter what you got on them. Come on, Chubby. Let's go. I'm going to do my Superman leap. Come here now. I don't like how you spin your butt over there. Come on. Come on. Come on. Can you liven up here? There you go. Oh, we got to go over here. Come on. Come on. What does this mean? There. Whoop. Here. All right. Now I'm up here. So we can educate the neck together right now. Okay, I'll show you. Right at this moment. She'd like to go, I guess, ride up that thing. I'm going to ask her to back up now, off the neck. Just watch. I'm going to back her here on the release. Okay, I'm going to ask her here to back up. And I'm going to open my leg to let her through. See how I open my leg up and I back her from there. Okay? I'm going to back her again. Watch my leg. I open my leg. Okay? And I back her from here. I don't pull and kick. I release and I open. And once you get that going, you're a good girl. I gotta get off on this side. See how she likes it. This shouldn't be a free horse.
Well, she'd like 800 for her, if possible.
Oh, 800. Well, that's a lot different than free. But anyhow, 800, I guess if I had a field and a little cart and a carriage, and I knew a little about horses, I'd give 800 for her. She's sure in a good mood now.
If, you know, and if the good home is important, the important part.
Well, a good home is certainly always going to be important.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see now. I'm going to get up here. I'm going to turn her loose for a minute, and then I'll go catch her again. I want to really give her the benefit of the doubt, because she never offered to pull away from me. She never offered really to say no, except she's confused. All right, so I'm going to now talk about this educating the neck. What a nice little horse. Yeah, she's very sweet. And she did everything I asked. But I got to leave her alone now for a minute, and I'll talk about this neck business. Okay, this gets really into the mind. Could you?
I'll hold it for you.
Thanks. Okay, so this gets into the mind. Here's how it is. Because the shoulder blades are here, and when I'm riding, and I have my hands right here, and I have my reins going down those shoulder groove, if you are busy pulling your reins back, and you actually make contact with the mouth, even if you have, even if the neck has a bow in it, or you could call it longitudinal flexion, or you could call it collection, you can call it all kinds of things. People like to, there's many different popular ways of having a horse come back to you. You can curl their head under so their chin is on their chest. There's limited advantage to that in my experience and as I have observed. You can, you look at the way the saddlebreds and the Morgan and the gaited horse people have it. The head goes straight up, the neck goes straight up, and then you have the head kind of vertical at the top. It depends on you. Look through your sale guide. Look at what the cutters and the reiners and the dressage and the eventers and the jumping people are doing to get what they call a headset or a frame or a collection or control of the horse or properly bitted. Look at the amount, the more stuff that you have on a horse's face and the more stuff you need. Chambon, drop noseband, flash noseband, draw reins, side reins, martingale, Mechlin bridle. You can have any number of other things. I'm not going to get into the whole litany of metal things that are used and piano wire head stalls in some parts of the industry, which I am very upset about. There's a lot of stuff, where vets are involved with a lot of things to sort of mask little cosmetic issues like this. Look, all it tells me when I see this kind of stuff is not that there are bad horse people. It tells me that people don't understand the animal. Because if you are trying to get anything that has to do a combination of obedience, consistency, safety for the rider and handler, and a certain modicum of tolerance for the horse, because you don't want him to start killing people, you've got to manage the horse's pain and the horse's knowledge of what you're doing with him and to him so that it somehow gets down to the feet so that you're worth your monthly training bill and the horse is worth the price tag he goes out with so that you don't have someone double back and slash all the tires or burn down your barn. And I know a lot of stories about a lot of things that have happened with badly trained horses and lies that go out with them. So if you really want the key to this thing, you've got to understand that a horse, you look at all you have to do is look at history. You look at the way the plantations in this country were run by children who were doing 6 and 8 mule hitches, right? With a little piece of Timothy grass hanging out of their mouth, sitting up on that thing, and those mules were going down and back and down and back in tobacco, in cotton, in all kind of vegetables. Children were raising vegetables in every corner of society. All they had to do was the men did the work in the beginning. The rocks got taken out. The stone boats pulled the rocks away. The big horses and the men cleared the timber. And after that, there were kids 6, 8, 10, 9, 11, 14 years old running the farms with these big hitches and teams. You don't have to muscle these horses. You got to learn how to release them to the job. That's the point. It only requires the understanding of where you want the feet, in what sequence, at what speed, and when. Once you understand the job, whether it's cutting, reining, bulldogging or team roping or barrel racing or pole bending, or you want to go to a puissance wall, you are knowing exactly where you need those feet. If you don't, you oughtn't be galloping in that one. You just have to know where you want the feet. And then understand that it's not about how much pain you can make that horse experience so that you can get your sorry ass over the fence or down the road or off the fence or after the cow. It's not about how much we can get these horses to tolerate us. It's how are they going to feel about you when you're hanging by a stirrup at a gallop because you have misjudged the whole experience. All you have to do is drive over a bee's nest with a horse and you'll find out how much life they have. You know, they're going to really wake up at that one. And you could have the best trained horse in the world. You could take your grandmother and your grandfather down to the mailbox and back with a rope and halter. You land them on a bee's nest, you'll have a whole other situation going. 1, 2, 3 now. So all we're talking about is how little can you do to get the most out of it. Okay, so here's what I think. Every time I drop an inch of line down that neck, did you see how I backed that horse up 3 steps just off? I opened my lower leg. I set that shoulder. Did you guys see that? I've set that rein. I haven't been on that horse. And it's good she's nice, because that could have been a different kind of ride. She could have put me right through this panel like a barrel stave. I mean, I could be looking really different if she was a different kind of horse and I had different judgment. But I've already made those mistakes. Plenty of them.
You made slight contact and then you threw it away.
Well, yes, I made contact, but not with her mouth. I made contact. I brought the rein out and I brought it back on her neck, and I brought the rein out and back on her neck. So she felt it leave and she felt it come in.
Okay.
And then what I did was I moved my body left and right a little bit on her back, just a bit. I don't know if you saw it. Not too excessively, because I didn't want her to start thinking I was going to give her a scratching session. So then when you move your body left and right, she picks up a diagonal there. See? You weight your right hip a little, she'll take your right shoulder and left hip. You weight your left leg, well, not my hip really, but my lower leg. I try to ride with my weight in my legs.
Yeah. Right
Above my knee, I want my, you kind of pretend, you can pretend that your whole weight will go right down. Let's say that you had, okay, you can pretend it like this. When you're sitting on a horse and instead of letting your weight stop at your butt, pretend that you can sort of close off the bottom of your pants, and all of you is water. You're going to sink to the lowest part of your leg you can that's on the horse. You want your weight to be carried across those ribs. And then that allows that horse to reach that neck down already. They're already started in long and low, you guys, if you are not grinding your seat bones into their back. My number one complaint. I know everybody likes to talk about seat bones and whatnot. Look at her go. Not only that, she's got a homing device in her. So I, for one, don't like this grinding the seat bone practice, but I am not a dressage trainer, and I am not criticizing it either. I just know that by not doing it, you can get a whole other animal to work with, which is immediately not need half the training that you'd have to put in there when you're grinding your butt on their back and into your saddle. And that's the same for the reining, where you get a lot of these fellows sticking their feet way out past the shoulders and curling the back over, and they're running into the saddle horn with their belly and everything else. And I'm sorry, you know, there is a whole lot more dignified way to ride that performance. And the idea, for example, right there, that you're going to use a spur and a tight leading rein to get a spin. The idea, I mean, what's available in these horses is just so much more useful than that. But it's not for me to comment on the merit or the demerit of any particular test that people train for. That's what they want to do. That's great. What I have a hard time with is how hard it is for them and for the horse when it's really so easy. That's the thing, is that it doesn't have to be so hard to get an absolutely breathtakingly gorgeous flat spin, where so many people just get so hung up in making it happen instead of allowing it. And that's what happens when you begin, because any time you have to pick up the shoulders to get a maneuver, it means that already the hips aren't working properly. You don't have the weight back where it belongs to have the shoulder free. You shouldn't need to use the reins on the mouth to free a shoulder, because actually it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. All you have to do is drop that rein down that neck, and that horse comes back to you. And I've shown this Bill taught me that sitting in a chair. And Bill was unable to get on and ride and show me that. there were plenty of days he wanted to, and it wasn't going to be a riding day for him. So he talked me through it on two horses that two horses. I had a bay mare and a gray mare there that I had, 3 mares there at the time. And we had, that was a hard thing to learn, to not see it. That was a hard thing for me to learn and not see, but I got it finally. And I teach that to my students and show it to my friends. But the thing is, if you think about releasing the horse back up to you instead of pulling, then that means that you don't have to sacrifice any pressure on the mouth. It means you're not going to lose the vibrancy and the vitality that the horse can keep access to by not closing down his diaphragm. The minute you strap that nose shut, the minute you start to take hold of that face, he tightens right in there, and boy, you're not going to easily get that back. Not easily, and so all of that tightness is going to end up in your sacrum. You start feeling it in the adductors, the psoas. Your pectoral muscles get tight, and the next thing you know, your lats and all of this, everything, your rhomboids, the whole program, all the way up through the neck to your cervical vertebrae is just suddenly just closing down, and it's exactly when you want it loose and available, and the horse is free and enjoying their part of the partnership. So I don't know. I'll have to show you. That's what I can tell you about it. You can start practicing this yourself by getting your shoulders in time with the placement of their feet. If you follow the shoulders to the ground with your shoulders, and you remember that you can start setting the reins down. But remember, can you see my hands here, Rick? If I get sideways?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not this. It's not that you follow the shoulders to the ground doing this, because if you're doing this, you're putting down on one side, but you're pulling the other side of the mouth. It's more like dealing cards. Okay, you're going to have your hands right here, and you go forward, 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 forward. So as you're following that foot up and down to the ground, up and down, you want to start by practicing to follow the shoulder that's moving. Okay, and then what you want to do is you get so that you can get in that's the natural rhythm of the horse if you're not tight, because his hips will move your hips, and you'll be on a diagonal because he's on a diagonal. That's what's going to happen. Your hips will follow the movement underneath you, and your shoulders will follow his shoulders if you're not trying to grab the face. And if you have a horse you can't do this with, just let someone lead you. Just do it without reins. Then you add your lead rope, or you add your neck rope, or whatever you want on there, and you start following those feet to the ground. And then they'll see a point, is that if you're following that foot to the ground with that hand, this other shoulder is coming up. So it's not like you release this shoulder. Your dropped rein releases your other shoulder. See? Because if you want to take a hard turn quickly, you need a leading foot that's going to be in the right position. If you're just trying to pull that head through the turn, then you're going to stick that foot out in your own way, and you're going to be like this.
The hind end goes and the front end stays.
Right. The hind end will flip out, the front end will stay, and then you're just going to say, why am I turning around this way? This is where you want to start thinking about not doing an excessive amount of, what I would call an excessive amount of one rein stops or stepping the horse over behind, because there's no point in having a pet horse who is mollycoddled all the time, lovey-dovey, coming up, getting punished for being there, then hand-fed occasionally and rewarded for crowding again, and then you're going to get on in your rope and halter, do your 99 times of loading up the forehand, stepping his hips out of the way, and then you want a light front end when you get on? You know what that's called? A fantasy. That is called a fantasy.
I have a question here.
Yes.
What do you recommend for a barrel horse that doesn't like to back up? It seems like he doesn't exactly know where his feet are.
Is this barrel horse currently in competition?
To wait for Kenzie to reply.
Okay. If you could tell me if the barrel horse is currently in competition, I can help you. Anyway.
No, not yet.
Oh, not yet. It's headed for competition.
Apparently.
Well, that's a longer discussion. I would say you're going to want to get that backup correct in the rope and halter first. And the other thing that I would emphasize is that if you're going to be running barrels, you see, your backup has got a lot to do with your stop. And if you don't have a good backup on your horse, you probably don't have a very good stop on him yet either. But I think you want to look at what the career and the purpose of a barrel horse is all about, and start to think about whether focusing on backing and stopping is going to later be put second or third behind winning. And if you already know that you're just going to go for the gold and gas him through those cans, I wouldn't put too much pressure on him right now to stop and back, because you can just close the gate and he'll stop there. I'm not...
She says that he does it perfectly on the ground, but not under saddle, and he stops well.
All right. Well, that helps to know. One thing I could say then about that is that the rider is looking down at her own hands in the backup, because that will drive the front of your western saddle right into the top of the shoulder blades. You're not looking up. Your chin isn't up, and you're probably also getting an active leg on there. Is my guess is you'd be using an active leg and pulling at the same time and looking down, and that will lock your shoulders right up. So that's good to know that you have a good stop. I'm happy to hear that. And I want to make perfectly clear that I am not advocating anybody train a horse just for barrels and forget the backup and the stop. But what I was saying is that if you already know that you're going to get out there, if you know yourself well enough and you know that your agenda is just to get out there and burn through some cans, I would not give your horse or yourself an overly strict assignment to try to get, you know, a bigger, broader, deeper, more refined foundation, because there's not a whole lot that's that refined about the way barrels are traditionally run. I've thought many times, because I like competition fine, and I like barrels too, and I like racing a lot, and I like timed events a lot, and I like riding a lot. If you want to get through those barrels, stop kicking your horse like everybody does. I see these girls out here, they look like they're American Eagles, flapping their legs and stuff. You want to really pick up the speed on a horse, quit distracting them with your legs. I have never ever seen a horse speed up because somebody was pulling the attention back. When I want to go fast, I am looking where I'm going, and I release those things like a shotgun. Bang, goodbye. I actually drove all the way to northern Sweden for a horse race once. And I raced bareback for, what was it? An eighth of a mile. And in the end, I drove all the way up there. It was a 10-hour drive. I brought my horse up there for a race. And I did another race with him too. But this one race, I was in a rope and halter on that ride. He was a pretty big horse. I was really damn fast. We had to race separately. And then when they saw my time, they didn't do it. That was disappointing. There wasn't a big enough place for two of us to go safely because the end was too tight. You had to end up in the woods. And so somebody was going to hit a tree. So what we did was, well, I don't mind telling you, I'll race. That was fun. But I'm not going to race unsafely. So it was really fast. We computed it. It was about... might have topped out at 31 miles an hour. And it was a very short race, I will tell you this. And it was a pretty big horse. He had a big stride. But that was as fast as I've been in a long time. And I didn't do the calculations, but somebody else who seemed to be better at math than I, they were calculating kilometers and seconds and distances and meters. But anyway, there's nothing wrong with going fast, but there's no reason to hit a horse behind. There's no reason to hit a horse behind a saddle, and there's no reason. These racing people, I just never have gotten it. I worked at the racetrack. I've ridden these race horses. I've never understood why somebody thinks that that hitting the horse from behind is going to keep his attention ahead on the place you're going. It doesn't work that way. It's like you're going to open the door for somebody at the movie theater and then kick him in the ass on the way through. What in the world are you thinking? That draws the attention back. And if somebody's really on their job, it'll put a fist right in the center of your nose. But the point is, the horses, because they're flight animals, are actually somewhat misunderstood. You need to release them to go if you want the speed. You saw how I got that mare going today. You think if I'd hit her and tried to get her going with a stick and a flag and a whip and a carrot or whatever you have, all those things you're going to be using, no way. I'd still be up there fighting with her now. Guaranteed. Maybe I'd even have the bloody nose. Okay, so let me, yep, she's really scratchy. She's really cute. Anyway, let me see if that was satisfying to them as an answer. I realize I got off my target and off my, is it Kenzie? Kenzie.
Kenzie. Yes.
Kenzie. I did get a little bit over my line talking to you about your sport and everything else. It's not my business to tell you not to kick your horse. I know that's popular, but I think you can get a lot more speed around your cans if you don't do that. It's a lot of wasted energy. And I think there's a much faster way to get your horse down the road. Call Butch Mayhew if you've got a barrel horse, by the way. He's down there in San Antone. Call Butchie. He's got stuff for you if you need stress line therapy, and he's got some really good liniment for barrel horses. I don't know where you are, Kenzie, but if you've got barrel horses, you guys get out there and get to know Butch. C.L. Mayhew, stress line therapy. He is the man to talk to. Okay, is she still there?
She just asked you another question. How do you feel about talking to your horse when you're about to go through a gate to calm them down?
Well, I would calm yourself down, and then you don't need to talk to him. But you can do whatever you want. I think you should do whatever you want to calm him down, except drug him if you're going to be up there. Riding a drugged horse is not a good idea. It really is not.
She doesn't kick.
She doesn't kick him. Way to go, Kenzie. Tell me when you're in the championships, I'll come. That's great. No, I promise you, it is so wasted energy kicking horses. It puts you off balance. It puts them off balance. It gets them completely worried, and it absolutely costs you time. And anyway, we can talk about those things later. I think maybe you look like you could use a break from holding the phone. You look quite uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's okay. You've been going about an hour too.
Okay. Well, gosh, this turned into a lovely day, and that little fat thing needs to be caught up and brushed off and put back. I hope I did a good job for the horse. What's the name of the lady who owns her? Megan. I hope we find somebody who wants that little marshmallow of yours. Anyway, I can recommend that this is a safer horse than I thought in the beginning. She just needs no hand feeding, no slaps in the face. She needs some consistency. Her feet look good. She's got a good mood. If you treat her well, I think she'll make somebody really happy. Yeah. Was she led up? I don't know how she ties. I don't know how she has to put a cinch on. I didn't do those things, but I got on and off on the right. I was kind of sloppy intentionally. I tried to kind of act like some beginning hurried person who's just trying to get on the next trail ride as fast as possible, and I was, I think, sloppy enough to prove that, and that was my goal, not to be too, not to sacrifice accuracy and safety, but I wasn't trying to be too formal, I guess you'd say, or too uptight about my handling of her, because when I want to see what, in a short amount of time I had, what my sort of some laid-back country bumpkin kind of handling is going to produce in her, and I certainly don't want to misrepresent the horse and get somebody hurt.
Lots of people, including Kenzie, are thanking you.
Oh, thank you. So we'll see. I'm glad you guys had fun. I did too. I might as well tell you, I'm going to be in the Berkshires, Western Mass. So any horse that somebody wants to have me, I could just go in Eastern New York State, Southern Vermont, Western Mass, Northwestern Connecticut. I could do this again a couple times if you want. And if there's a horse that needs help or needs a home or somebody's unsure, I could go around and try to have somebody on Facebook be interested enough to buy your horse if you want. We could try that. I've never thought about doing that before, but it seems like a good way to show you some new skills, and it doesn't require me to do something like a formal, I'm happy to do a formal set of videos. Antonio Hidalgo had a great idea, and we're going to do it. I don't know quite when. We're going to get to it. 100 tips to get along better with your horse using feel and release. I think it's a great idea. And that doesn't qualify here. I think I'm not going to have it quite so backwoods as this was. And I'm happy to do backwoods. I can do backwoods, but I think for that sort of a thing, we'll try to bring in, well, yeah, real cameras, not an iPhone. Yes, sound and cameras would be a good start. Maybe I'll have some, get out of my airport pants and my sneakers. So we'll certainly try to pick up on that. And I also want to take this opportunity to mention that there are 2 events in Colorado in the middle of the month. One is in Nunn, Colorado. The other's in Fort Lupton. If you look on my website, and Antonio and I are going to be at Captain Stallet in Knutby, Sweden, the 10th through the 12th of August, and again on the 16th and 19th down in Calva Falls. There's a little bit of information about that on my website, if you can get there to the clinics and demos page. And if you have any questions, you can get on AHT Horsemanship and Sport on Facebook. That's Antonio's page. And check out what he's doing in Barcelona. He's got a good way with horses and a real nice way to work with people. And he's really good at his craft. I think he's one of Barcelona's best kept secrets, to be honest with you. That's the way I'd put it. So, see you later. Have fun. You know where to find us.